Hi, welcome to Rittner's Floral School in Boston, Mass. I'm Dr. Steve Rittner, and it's a pleasure to welcome you into one of our classrooms today. We've got a neat demonstration for you. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Now, I know I say that every time, but I mean it. You will enjoy this one. It's great because we're going to be playing with some really, really neat materials in today's demonstration. We're going to be featuring the proteas and leucadendrons and materials from Resendiz Farm in California. Now, these folks produce some amazing things. They concentrate on some pretty neat things like Banksia, like Protea. They've got so many different varieties of this stuff that they have available that are absolutely amazing. It's almost like going to another planet and finding an amazing bunch of botanicals to play with that are just outstanding. And you're going to love this because these things give an amazing look to your designing. I think you're going to enjoy it. Now, you can see an example of one of these things up here with a Banksia, a couple of pomegranates, a little bit of kiwi vine. But what we're going to do is we can not only design these things in water-based, but we can play with them in foam-based media as well. And we've got a container here, a container. It's a nice container with a kind of pretty effect on it. We've got some of our foam in place, and we're going to start by doing some really, really cool things. One thing that I like to do when I'm doing something with Protea is I like to start by giving myself just a nice big focal area. And you can see by taking a fairly large Protea and placing it in there, we've got something that definitely commands presence. But we're going to surround it with all kinds of other amazing materials. And one of the things that I really love about the Resendiz products is that they carry leucadendron. Leucadendron, they carry a huge variety of these things. They come in different colors. They hold up very, very well, and they really give an amazing effect to your designing. So let's play with some of the leucadendron, and we're going to work some of them in here, and I'm going to work them around my Protea because it gives a really, really cool effect when we do that. And that way we're starting with something smack dab in the middle, and then we're going to surround it with some of our other materials. I can even take a section of leucadendron that I've cut to make it a little shorter and then work it in here because even the foliage and the stem looks so darn cool. And I'm bringing my flowers around, and I'm definitely surrounding my Protea with it. Now, we're going to make this design pretty much as a one-sided piece. However, we can do some very, very neat things in terms of making this feel almost two-sided, and we could put things around the back side as well, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to take some of my foliage and stem from the large Protea, and I'm going to take smaller Protea, actually it's not tiny, and I'm going to work this in towards the other side as well. So this will give us a very, very interesting effect, and it also peeks through a little bit. So you can see the general shape that we're doing. We've got our focal in here. We've got some of our leucadendron working around. We have some other very, very neat products to work with and to play with on our design. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with some of our other Proteas that we have, and we're going to work them into this design. We're going to mix them and mix them in between. These things have an immediate presence. They stand out on their own. They are absolutely amazing. I love these materials, and I think if you haven't played with them, you're going to love them too because they are absolutely amazing. They're fun to work with. And you can see with just a few stem insertions, we're getting a very, very good showing in terms of our design. Now, they carry at Resendiz a variety of things, just a huge number of different products that are available. And just to kind of give you a sense of it, here is a poster. And it's just amazing, the stuff that they carry. They carry Banksia, they carry Grevillea, they carry pin cushions and leucospermum. They carry all kinds of Protea. What an amazing place this is. They really carry a huge range of things. And we thought it would be kind of fun to mix a few more things into this that I think you are going to enjoy. For example, let's take some of our pin cushions. Our pin cushions. These are very, very pretty, aren't they? And they give a really, really cool effect. And they give us a nice contrast with some of the Protea that we have here. And they really look cool. They fill space very, very nicely. So I'm going to play with a few of these and work these into the design as well. So I think you'll find the addition of our pin cushion adds a lot in terms of our floral piece. So I'm working a little here, a little there, and notice how this is coming together so nicely for me. Everything that I've used in this design thus far is from the folks at Resendiz, and I think that you can see why I am so enthusiastic about their products. Let's work another protea in here like so. I mean, these things are big, they're showy, they fill space very, very nicely. And I could make this design if I wanted to, just using the Resendiz product. But I want to show you something, my viewer, that I think is important. You can continue adding their materials here, the various protea, leucadendron, so forth in here. But their product also plays very, very well with other stuff too. And I think that that's important to emphasize. In other words, we can mix these protea with other flowers. And in mixing them with other flowers, they work equally well. Look at this. Everybody loves sunflowers. You never can go wrong with a sunflower. And so I'm deliberately working a few sunflowers into the mix. In other words, sure, we could play with this. We could play with this just with the protea product itself. But I want you to see, this stuff plays well with other flowers too. And I think that that's important. The ability of a flower to not only stand on its own, but to play well with others, I think is pretty essential. And it expands your possibilities from a design point of view. So we add a few of our sunflowers. How about adding a gerbera in here? Pretty, it's showy. We have a little bit of contrast with the red, and it kind of picks up the red from the container. Let's work this one in here to the design. And then let's see, what other interesting things can we mix in? Well, at this time of the year, we have a few dahlias available. So I'm going to mix a couple of dahlias into the design because everybody loves dahlias. Dahlias are pretty, and they give a very, very neat effect. So let's work a couple of dahlias into our composition. We got a couple right over there, and that gives us an interesting effect. Now, the folks at Resendiz also carry one of my favorite materials. This is called silver brunia. It's a berried kind of material. And as you know, my viewer, berries are very, very popular at the present time. We're getting them in and using them in all kinds of things. There are a huge range of berries out there that we can play with, ranging from hypericum berries to viburnum berries to ilex. And you've seen in some of our other videos that we love to play with some of these various kinds of botanicals because they are so darn cool. Well, let's work some of the Resendiz silver brunia into the design, and you can see, let me just cut this a little bit lower, a little shorter, and get this right in here. As you can see, the berries definitely add a really, really nice effect to the design. Now we also can mix other materials in, and just for the heck of it, let's work in a little bit of solidago. Just add a little bit of touch of color there. And then we're getting in some very, very nice safflowers at the present time. So let's work a few of those in, again, for contrast. In other words, we can come up with contrast of shape, contrast of form, different sizes. And I think you can see, my viewer, that this design is coming together very, very, very nicely for us. And we're using this just to get a little touch of color and contrast in terms of our materials. Well, what do you say, my viewer? Pretty cool, huh? These materials from Resendiz in California are amazing. Everything used in this design was grown in America, and you can see that we've come up with something very, very neat. For those of us who are very fussy about our mechanics, we can always take a little bit of Spanish moss, sneak it in here, and make sure that our mechanics are nice and covered with our materials, and you can see we've got a beautiful floral design. Quick, easy, and fun. And using some of these amazing materials from Resendiz, I think you can see they fall very, very nicely within the Rittner philosophy that floral design should be quick, easy, and fun. We hope you enjoyed this quick how to do it video on working with some of these products. On behalf of all of us here at Rittner's Floral School, I am Dr. Steve Rittner, It was a pleasure welcoming you into our classroom today, and we thank you for viewing this video.